Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with day 26 of the best of 30 days of sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. And today's sketch is one from series 8 and it is by Suzanna Lee. I'm guessing that you all can tell that she's one of our favorites. This is like her 4th or 5th, I think, in the series. And this was my September layout I created, and it is just documenting me and my best friend with when we found Daryl, the Sasquatch, on our way back from getting tattoos. And this time I am documenting these 4 pictures of my son sitting in a tide pool at the beach. And so I have this Paige Evans collection of the Bungalow Lane. And I only have a few papers, like these few papers right here, a couple scraps and branding strips, and the washi tape. That's all that I have at this moment for this collection. And so I'm hoping to use some branding strips, at least one. And then I also have this border strip. It's actually by Walmart. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how long I've had it. It is super old, but it was super fitting for what I needed, and I thought I could work it into this layout. So I don't exactly know what else I'm doing. I've not really got much of a plan, but hey. So I've got my papers, my embellishments, my pictures, and this awesome sketch. So let's see how this goes. So the first thing I did was try and determine what I want for that scrap of paper that is up at the top. And so I go with this striped paper, and it is blue and pink. Right here you can tell that it's pink. In some light it looks almost like white, but it is a light shade, a very light shade pink. And I get it cut on a line to where it's going to start and end with blue because it's going to go on a white solid paper. And then I pull this tealy aqua color out. Don't worry, you're not really going to see that. This is just to be used for the little banners or fishtails that come down. And I am cutting those 2 inches across. And so I am going to just cut those kind of in half. I'm not really worried about where they're going to be in length because I can trim them up as I need to, but I do need to cut them in half because I need 6 of these 2-inch strips for the banners, those little fishtail banners. And I love this geometrics on the back of this paper. It's really pretty cool, and it may be the reason I picked this paper out from Joann's. When they have their 10 for 2, I always buy some different specialty papers and these papers like this. And I'm usually pretty selective because I don't want to I do want to buy it all, but I know I shouldn't. So I get that blue and pink stripe down. That was my dog shaking off right next to me. Thanks. And I get these blue 2-inch pieces, and they're approximately 2 by 6 because I cut them in half. And I'm going to washi tape them. So I have this Bungalow Lane washi. I got it for Christmas, I think, this past year. And so I just put a little strip of the tape runner down the middle so it gives it a little extra hold. And I'm just going to start here. Now, I should have started at the top and done the whole thing for at least most of these, and I do learn that lesson about halfway through. A couple of them are completely covered, like the ends are completely covered, but some of them show between the pictures. I could have fixed that by having the pictures overlap, but I really don't want to do that, so I will fix it and it'll be just fine. So I just washi all the way down, and then I cut a fishtail out. And I learned how to fishtail by State Goddess, Sandy Reversky. And she, of course, she uses like her little measuring utensil and kind of cuts from the middle. I, on the other hand, just, eyeball it. I also cannot fold it over and cut. That's one thing she was talking about how she can't do, and I cannot either. It always looks wonky, and if it's going to be wonky, then at least it doesn't have a crease. I don't know. So I know that's a little off, but that's why I will put that up to the next one so they're all a little off. So if they're all a little off, it looks intentional, right? So I just go through and do the same thing. And the only reason I held out and showed you more of me doing the yellow washi is because it is thin and you can see that blue through it. So I like double layered the yellow and you can still kind of see through it, but I'm okay with that. It's not like a bright teal in your face. So I am now done and I am ready to put my pictures down, and I do want to mat those a little bit. So I am going to pull out this paper that's on the back side of the blue and pink stripe, and it's the Geometrics. And most of it's not going to show, but it's going to have all the different colors that are in the washi. So I thought that little thin border would be good. And I'm cutting it in a 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. No, 3 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to trim my pictures down to 2 3/4 wide, because there's plenty of water and sand on either side that I don't mind losing about 1/4 inch of this width of those pictures. So I start and trim those down, and I printed those through Project Life. So I put 2 3 by 4s on one 4 by 6, which is amazing for saving money in printing, especially if you don't always scrap in a 4 by 6, which I have definitely moved away from because that's what I used to always scrap with. And then I met some people who taught me the way of the wise ones, and now I save money and can get, do different things with my layouts instead of feeling trapped by a 4 by 6 or feeling like I have to trim a picture down and lose things. I really do love being able to do that, and Project Life is super easy to work with. So I get all these down, and I'm trying to make sure if there's blue on the paper that it shows through, because there's, blue in his bathing suit. There's blue in my papers. So I start by just attaching the top, because I know I'm going to be tucking in those little banners that I've created, or tags, flags, whatever you want to call them. And I'm just kind of eyeballing like I like to do. And I do want them to sit in the blue. Like I want them to end in the blue so that they stand out a little bit, because the papers that I mat them on are lighter colored. So I'm just getting those down. And the good thing about this tape runner is it is not an instant stick, so it's pretty easy to pull that up and adjust if I need to. Once it's set for a little, a few moments, then it's usually a little harder to come off. But right after you put it down, it usually works good. So I'm going to get these laid out to where the yellow were kind of separating some of the blue. And my favorite is that greeny blue color with the gold. Oh my gosh, it is so gorgeous. And I love it. So the first thing I'm going to do is start at the far left, and it is supposed to be, based on the sketch, even with the far left picture. So it doesn't come out. So I'm perfectly fine with my blue right there, and I can just get that tucked in and attach it. And so then when I go to do the yellow, I realize you can see where the yellow stops between those two pictures. And so I'm looking at my sketch, trying to see if maybe I messed something up. And so I move on, and I just debate on exactly what I'm going to do to make, fix this and make it work. So then this is what I'm talking about. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? That washi tape is just stunning. I love it. So then I'm going to start on the other side. And I was thinking maybe I would do these three the same as the other side, but I don't. I washi tape the rest of the yellow paper, or the yellow washi, so that I don't have to worry about that. And then I'm going to go back and fix the washi on the other one, because, I've already cut that blue paper off, but I'm going to work it out. I'm going to washi tape the little blue paper that I cut off, and then I'm going to put it up there. So first I go ahead and put more washi tape down on this one right here. And these are all really pretty washies. The one that is currently on the far right, but when it's turned proper, the one on the far left has like these little scallops, and they are so pretty. And I think I must have known that when I first got the washi, but I've never used it. So when I started pulling it off of there, I was like, oh my gosh. So I will be using that again very soon because it's such a neat little washi tape. So I love the way that this is. I wanted that green to be the most predominant, and it is just beautiful. So then the next step was to figure out the bottom. So I first start by putting some double-sided tape on this, or some adhesive down on that Tide Pool thing. But then I think I want to add something to the base of this to bring in that same color pattern from up at the top. So I have these 2 branding strips, or they're probably just scraps that came from one of the papers. And so I just tape those down, and I'm gonna like pretty much put one on the very bottom and then one right above. I guess I should have measured, because when I start to put this down, I realize it's not long enough. I must have trimmed it at some point. Luckily, I had one more. And so I just set that aside. Yes, you all pay attention and measure first. So I tape this one, and then I just leave a gap because that Tide Pools is going to go there. And I really just want this to kind of sandwich that so that it brings that same color palette and everything down to the bottom. And then I put this little thing that says Tide Pools, and it's super cute. It's got some rope and stuff on it, and I really enjoy the way that this looks. And putting those branding strips down there, I felt really helped. So then I get my circle punch, because in this sketch there's hearts, and I do like the hearts, and I am going to bring some hearts in, but I didn't want that to be my main shape. So I get my circle punch by Creative Memories, and I use a couple of the bigger ones, or one of the big ones, a couple of the medium-sized ones, and then a little smaller one, I think. And I just punch out the circles in the blue areas or the yellow. I try and stick with those things because that's the predominant color that I'm using. And I just put some adhesive on here to get them attached. And I put them pretty much exactly where they have them in the sketch, except on the title. Since the title is 3D, I don't put any down there. But instead of one right here in the middle, I put 2. And it's like a yellow circle. And then I'm going to cut or trim out one more, punch out one more little circle to put on top of that yellow one. Because it's got like a weird little pink partial piece on there. And I wanted to get that covered because it looks kind of weird. So I used my little circle punch and the smaller size, which I think it's a 1/2 inch maybe. And I have to tape it a little bit better because since it's going from one banner to another, it was kind of wonky looking. So I get that down, and then I add this other little piece to that, and I'm pretty much done, but I do want to bring in a little something. I know that I could put a bunch of ephemera and embellishments on here, like water and seashells and all that good jam, but I just really didn't want to do all that. I went over the top with the sketch when I did it back in September. So this one I kind of kept a little bit more simplistic, and I'm trying to steer clear of too much dimension right now because my beach book has gone from being just one book to probably 2 at this point. And I am nowhere near done. So I'm trying, it's just 1 week of my life. But 1 week of my life at Disney turned into 8 books. So, it's fine. It's all fine, you all. So at this point, I am done. I considered bringing in some ink, but really, I just felt like these papers were calling, they just were enough for me. And I love the way that the washi ended up looking. So I'm going to show you some close-ups. And I would love for you all to go in the description box, follow along with the playlist, because there are hundreds of videos in this playlist that you can watch. And then also, there are some other things going on today, like Scrap Left Crafternoon I just posted. And I think I've got like 2 or 3 of these videos from 30 Days of Sketches that I was playing catch up on. So it's lots of content going on my YouTube channel today. So, and then tomorrow will be day 27. We'll be right back at it. So I hope you'll come back to see me again real soon. Have a great day and happy scrapping.